All right, everyone. Nothony Way Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well, and it's time for our weekly track roundup. My thoughts, my feelings, my emotions on a bunch of music that has dropped over the past week or so. That is the plan, so let's get into it. Also linked down below, along with all of the music I talk about in this video, is our Turntable Lab link. We get kicked back from it. Our Patreon page. Use that to support the channel if you desire. But also linked at the top of the description box is our sponsor for this video, the good people over at SeatGeek. If you haven't noticed, summer concert season is on, and I'm looking to grab my tickets to see my favorite pop star, Tate McRodrigo XCX. And where else would I be doing that other than SeatGeek? SeatGeek has proven time and time again why they are the best when it comes to securing tickets to the events you love. With over 35 million downloads, they are the #1 ticketing app in the world. If you're looking for a baseball game, SeatGeek's got you. How about Ariana Grande? That too. With over 70,000 events on their platform at any given time, they have something for everyone. And you can also trust SeatGeek to have your back when it comes to prices too, with each ticket being rated on a 1 to 10 scale, so you'll know whether or not you're getting a deal based on whether or not you're seeing a green or a red dot on a ticket or a seat. Green is good, red is bad. It's that simple, literally. And either way, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. So with concert season fully locked and loaded, go over to SeatGeek, use code FANTANO10, which will give you not only 10% off your tickets, but also a reason to leave the house. And thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. And from there, we go into the worst tracks of the week. We have a handful. We have a few of those, unfortunately. Starting off with, the new Orville Peck song, Too Little Too Late. It's a little bit less of a good quality emotional country ballad and more of like a, I don't know, like a power pop tune or a piece of pop rock with kind of southern flair to it. And I just don't really think it complements Mr. Peck's vocal range or, you know, his vocal strengths. I'll say that. Also really not digging this new Noname and DRAM crossover, Squatter. The production is really low quality. The recording is kind of thrown together. It feels like both of them are doing this on the most shoestring budget that you can imagine, and the results are not great. This just kind of feels like both of them punching far beneath their respective weights. Yeah. And also not really liking 303 coming out with new music, especially terrible synth slop like this. My Friends is the title of it. It's a horror of a track, annoying, obnoxious. Like maybe I would play it at a party to get people to leave. That's kind of the vibe that it's bringing, truly and honestly. All right, meh. The songs I was on the fence about. Not really crazy about them, but still wanted to shout them out and draw some attention to them because, you know, maybe they should be on your radar. Boom. Starting with this new one from The Game and YG and Swizz Beatz and Timbaland all together. Yeah, it's not too bad of a track, honestly. Starts off strong enough with The Game on a good opening verse and kind of a throwback old school beat. YG in the second half, I'm not really that nuts about. Look, it starts a lot stronger than it finishes, and I will leave it there. After this, we have the new Quadeca song, which, you know, has some interesting moments on it. Hell of a Time is the title, but it just feels a little bit too kind of cluttered and all over the place to my ears. There's a lot of elements to this track that just make it feel a little at war with itself. It's not nearly as cohesive instrumentally as the other Quadeca singles we have heard thus far as of late, so I'm a little on the fence about it as a result. Also, this new Mannequin Pussy and Militarie gun crossover is okay, and definitely will draw some attention to the fact that these guys are performing, doing a bunch of dates, which is pretty cool. We have also Kirin J. Callinan, who has come through with a very interesting, lengthy new single, almost like trying to call back to some like 90s Bowie, like some forbidden Bowie in a way. It's very synthy, it's very groovy, it's very dramatic. It's not too bad, you know. It's certainly a more interesting offering than a lot of what was on his last full-length LP. I wonder if we'll get more like this. It's a very ambitious single, I will say that, and awesome bass lines, really sick bass lines throughout the track for sure. We have Flow over here, forthcoming album, Therapy at the Club. And, you know, I'm always excited to hear these guys maybe get a bit more modern and ambitious. And certainly this song is that to a degree, with the storytelling and the more, I guess, I'll say big budget production. Remedied is the name of the track, but the more that I listen to it, kind of the super overproduced details and the vocal layering, it just kind of felt like a song from Sing 2 or like the Trolls movie. I'm not too crazy about it, even if I do think, like, you know, the humor and message of it is like well intended. We have this Fiona Apple track, which is a part of this Apple original series, which is very dramatic and you know, sung in a very interesting fashion. Fiona really kind of digging into her lower range, but it is like a very short piece and doesn't really extend out too long. Can't see myself kind of going back to it within the context of just, like, you know, just itself as a song. I'll say that. We also have Corey Feldman, who is rocking like crazy with some Red Hot Chili Peppers grooves and a grandiose, ambitious Aerosmith type ending. And, you know, it's not too bad for the Feldman. It's not too bad. He has put out far worse songs, and dare I say, some portions of it kind of rock. The vocals are grating for sure, but there's a there. Corey's like improving. He's becoming true rock. I'll say that. All right. We also have a new one over here from the Avalanches, which, you know, this latest crop of singles have hit fans in some really interesting ways because, you know, obviously, the outfit has kind of progressed and evolved so far past, you know, the days of their debut. And now this feels like the furthest, this era, this new batch of singles feels like the furthest removed. And this new one featuring Kirin, it's got some beautiful elements to it, but it's very short and very one note and doesn't really go or progress anywhere once it establishes itself. And then it just kind of, like, you know, disappears into the ether. I'm kind of hoping that it ends up being like a transitional moment in the track list that brings us into other things. It's pretty as a motif, but you know, really could have used a bit more structure to keep it interesting. And then we have the best tracks of the week. Geez, Anthony, what are those? Let's see. We have this new one from Russian Circles over here. A very curious title, Eluvial it is. And you know, these guys are back to their usual old post-metal tricks. It's instrumental, it's dramatic, some sinister chord progressions, really heavy, epic ending, 8-minute runtime. It's a heavy hitter. And, you know, again, I'll say quite dynamic, a nice listen for sure, and looking forward to their forthcoming album 9. We've also got a new one from Protomartyr over here. Yes, it's true. It does not live up to its title, Sounds We Cannot Hear. In fact, you can hear it. They lied, but I'm actually glad I can hear it because it's one of the band's best and most ambitious songs. The freaking horns, the strings, all the orchestrations, everything. Really kind of pairs very well with the band's kind of trademark dour post-punk goth rock style. And yeah, it's just a good tune to boot. Very layered, very wonderful. We also have Pain of Truth, who are rocking like hell with some great breakdowns, some clean vocal passages too, but not too clean. You know, it doesn't take away from how, like, you know, sick and gnarly this new song from them are. Unforgiven is the name of this track, and yeah, the guitar mix is beefy. The drums are sounding great. It's some good metalcore for sure. We've got also Dinner Party, not the last Dinner Party, but Dinner Party, the collective that features none other than Ninth Wonder, Terrace Martin, Robert Glasper, Kamasi Washington. They have a new collab album on the way, which is pretty exciting. It's got elements of funk and neo soul, some great lead vocals too, awesome sax passages. Peace of Mind, I believe, is the name of the track, and it's also the closer to this new album, which is interesting. Following this, we have also Cyst, which is a new project, new duo featuring producer extraordinaire Mr. Igloo Ghost, and of course his significant other Daisy, formerly known as Baby, who is holding a baby. They're quite obviously they're now parents, actually, which is pretty sick. They have a new collab project on the way, again under the name Cyst. Knackered is the lead single from it. The record is going to be dropping through Lucky Me, and honestly, the music that this track is, it's difficult to define. A lot like many songs from Igloo Ghost's most recent record. It feels almost like some strange futuristic avant-garde grime and EDM fusions. It's a little industrial. It's very strange. It's very warehouse. It's very odd. It's very another dimension. Again, super intriguing and stimulating, but also difficult to label, frankly. We also have, of course, C.O.F.F.I.N, this awesome rock band from Down Under, who have a new record on the way. Sleep in it. Sleep in that coffin, man. Yeah, it's rough. It's rowdy. It's garagey. It's a little Motorhead at points, too. It's just some really nasty, badass rock and roll with tons of awesome guitar solos all over it. What more could you want? Gutsy performance as well. We also have over here Chelsea Wolfe, who has dropped, I think, her best single of this new album cycle. All signs are kind of pointing to Chelsea going into more of an acoustic direction with this record, which she has done in the past, but the instrumentals are maybe a little bit more rockin' and layered and well produced, and it feels almost like she's trying to go toe to toe with some of the kind of mainstream singer-songwriter types of the day. I would say there's almost even like a slight hint of hosier on this track, but I don't think Chelsea is like trying to make a hosier song. I feel like it just kind of has a bit of a crossover appeal with that audience, but in a very kind of like Chelsea Wolfe sort of way, if that makes any sense. Nothing I'm trying to put across here is anything less than complimentary. I love the song. Again, I feel like it's her best so far in this new album cycle. And hopefully, it seems like Chelsea's really kind of like shooting for a bit of a breakout moment or something with these tracks, and I certainly hope she gets it, because I think the fact that a lot of her albums do run so heavy and dark and strange, it leads a lot of people to kind of like underappreciate the more accessible elements of her songwriting and her song craft just in general. And I feel like tracks like this really kind of like flex that muscle very directly in a way that you can't ignore it. So hell yeah to that. We also have Enigma, forthcoming album from, of course, Channel Trace. New song from the album. Another single. We've been getting lots of teasers from this record, and this one over here is Only One. It's one of the most colorful and funky and pop-centric of the batch so far. Not a bad one for sure. Really enjoying this. Also, I hate to show this on the screen because apparently the visuals and music video for the new Chad Hugo single are AI. Yeah, this is like some AI stuff, I guess, or like built off of AI stuff, or there's like AI elements in the mix. It's not really explained. I'm not really happy about it, but still, Chad Hugo, formerly one half of the Neptunes, really excited that he has new music on the way, and the production is great. The song itself, I just wish was longer. It features Kelly 47. It features Tierra Whack, and their chemistry on the song is great. The production is weird. It's left field, but it's drum heavy and impeccably funky and fun. Also love the Jumpupw, you know, refrain on the track. Like, the song has everything, you know, great intro, great verses, standout chorus. It just should be longer. You know, I feel like everything about it that is so good could have just been extended into a 3 or 4 minute cut, not something less than 2 minutes. It really just needs to be longer. I hope that, you know, we just kind of see more of Chad and less of AI in the coming days as we get kind of closer to his first solo release. And finally, we have 2hollis, who miraculously I am enjoying over here, despite being a little on the fence with a lot of his work in the past. In this track itself, I was not really impressed with when I saw like clips of it floating around online, but actually hearing the entire track, yes, in fact, it is true. When it comes to Deconstructed Club, when it comes to anything hyperpop or digicore and so on and so forth, this track is for sure redundant. It's you know, very obvious where its influences are coming from. It's not reinventing the wheel, but the songwriting is super solid. And I would say, like, you know, the aesthetics that it's trying to play to are attributed pretty well, pretty effectively. It's not like coming off as amateurish in terms of like its awareness and knowledge of what it is copying and borrowing from. So the details and the production are like there. And again, you know, it's primarily the tune that's kind of winning me over on this one and making me like it so much. And that is going to be it for the weekly tracks, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you got some good recommendations per usual from this video. Love you lots. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Anthony Fantano, Weekly Tracks, forever.